Hey friends, and welcome to the channel. Gene Perry here. I'm checking out the DSM Humboldt Simplifier DLX. This is a 2-channel preamp that can be used for both sides of the Chapman Stick. Let's have a listen. Hey friends, Gene Perry here with the Freehands Academy. Thanks for tuning in. As promised, for a couple of weeks now, I'm looking at the Simplifier DLX, and this is a fantastic little unit that can be used as a first stage for both sides of the Chapman Stick. And what makes it very appealing to me is that it's got a number of different inputs and controls that give it a lot of flexibility. So it allows me to use it a number of different ways. So initially I had hoped that the unit would provide reverb on the melody side and that I could use EQ on both sides. But something that did become apparent to me is that, well, there's two sections to the actual unit itself. You've got your preamp and then you've got your cabinet. And so the reverb is on the cabinet side. So if you look at the schematic, you'll see that you can't push off reverb to one side. It's on both sides per se, and you can't separate the reverb to a single signal path. So what I ended up having to do was to use the external routing options here to find a way around that so that I could have reverb on the melody side, which worked out great. And so I used one of my favorite reverb units, if not the most outstanding small pedal reverb unit that I've ever played, which is the Alexander Pedals Space Race. Space Force. Actually, Space Race was the first version of this. The Space Force is now stereo. Hallelujah. So tip of hat to you, Alexander Pedals, for making such a versatile pedal and making it in stereo the way I wanted it. The Simplifier DLX is a fantastic little unit in that it provides a number of different opportunities. Now there's 101 videos out there that will show you how to kind of march through all the different parameters, and this is what this amp sounds like and this is what that amp sounds like. But at a very high level, as a Chapman Stick player, all I want to know is if I can use it as a single unit for both sides of the Chapman Stick, and the answer is yes. Now, is the frequency response going to be as good as the Simplifier model for the bass side? I haven't tested that yet, but I do have emails into the people at DSM Humboldt, and they're based out of Chile, and I'm so hopeful that they'll get back to me to talk to me about how this can be used, or what the kind of constraints are on the frequencies for the bass side, which is where I thought it might be kind of lacking. But as you'll see in the video, I did get some low end out of it, and it did sound good. So for the context that I use it as a soloist, it just works out perfectly. So basically the top side of the unit is your preamp, and so you've got some different kind of stages here where you can have it, you know, there's like a edge setting or a lead setting and a crunch setting, and then you've got different amps as well, and one's kind of like a Marshall, and one's like a Vox, and the other's like a Fender, and I just run it right in the middle as that kind of Fender sound, which is clean. And then perhaps where the pedal really shines for a Chapman Stick player is that it takes a TRS in here. So I'll see if I can zoom this in. I have to kind of fool my camera here to do this right. So on the input here, right, you can run a TRS in, and then what makes it so versatile is that when you route it out, it'll take a TRS out, and then you can route the melody side to a reverb unit, which is what I did and what I'll kind of explain. So TRS in here, and then you take a TRS out here, a TRS to TS, and then when you route them back, right, you route them back in one side. The bass side just comes in dry, and then the melody side comes in from the reverb unit. And you'll see that when I show you this next set of videos here. In this next video, I'm going to run the Simplifier DLX with a reverb on the melody side. And the way that I do that is that you use a TRS send here, right? So this is going to send out and then return. The reverb is going to go through the melody side, which is the left side, and then the bass side is just going to return dry. Now you could run that through a compressor or any other pedals that you wanted to, and then that comes out dual mono here, left and right. Right, so it's not stereo per se. Now, if you were running it as, let's say, a second stage amp for just the melody side, then you could run it truly in stereo. But we're running it in parallel, and that's what gives it that magic. Would I recommend the Simplifier DLX to a Chapman Stick player? And the answer is yes. Yes, it is a very versatile device that has volume and EQ control along with some options for amp sounds. And you can isolate those to the bass side or the melody side. Now, the real allure for Chapman Stick players is that you can send TRS and return TS, which means you can isolate effects for the bass and the melody side, something that is not natively done with the cab sim side. And even though the reverbs sound really good and they're very high quality, I wasn't able to use them because I wasn't able to isolate the reverb to the melody side. So, a fantastic device. I see them going for $459 new and about $379 on reverb. So if you can find one out there for about that price, I think that's about fair. I hope you enjoyed my review of the Simplifier DLX. I've enjoyed exploring this pedal and finding out different ways to use it. I'm so grateful to you for tuning into the channel. Subscribe and like and comment if you like, and thanks so much for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Take care.